What's going on, gamers? Man, there's a lot of heat going on in debate for this Xbox Ally and Xbox Ally X today, man. Y'all gotta, man, like I said, I'm talking to Microsoft. Y'all can relax. Look, you can enjoy the handheld. As a matter of fact, I'm doing an article with you. We got a lot to talk about this, and we're gonna have some more videos on this thing. Good Lord, man, I see people getting just bent out of shape. Definitely when I brought up the Switch 2 stuff, because there was an article, if you guys don't remember, about a month and a half ago saying that the X was not even beating the Series S in raw performance. Digital Foundry did that video. You don't remember? So if I'm thinking that, I'm like, wait, the Switch 2 has beat the Series S in certain things when it comes to GPU, like Cyberpunk, because it can dock and all those other things. And people are getting offended over there. Like I'm trying to make a comment and be like, Nintendo's superior, I'm smashing down. Like, what are you talking about? I literally have made it quite clear that there's going to be some comparisons between the Ally. I didn't say X, I said Ally. I think people misunderstood me. Well, the Switch 2 may actually get some wins there, just because DLSS is better than what's available on there. From that perspective, obviously, I know it has more memory and I know it has a better CPU. I get what you guys are saying. So does the Series S. That's all I'm saying. But you're not getting it. I'm just saying that to me, $600 for that handheld is ridiculous. That's it. Now, the X obviously is a better deal, but hey. But anyways, in this article here, it says $1,000 worth of pipe. Remember, guys, enjoy the handheld. I can say all these things, but if you get the handheld and you're having a good time, who cares? I just tested the ROG Xbox Ally. There's three things I love about it. So first, he says he likes the performance. He likes the UI for Windows versus Windows 11, the most comfortable gaming handheld. Fans get loud, expected. No OLED, we know about that, and steep pricing, agreed. The Xbox ROG Ally and X are not just impressive gaming handhelds because of what's under the hood, but because of the sum of all its parts. A really comfortable design, stripping back Windows 11 to the bare bones and focusing on Xbox UI and Ryzen Z2, bringing true horsepower to the table. So going down here, he's telling you about the pre-orders here, but we don't know about that. So this is what we got to say. It was a quick session, but I really got to stress test them to somebody who actually had to test them, and even open the system monitor to see just how good they were to the latest updates. Rather than just eyeballing the frame rates and using guesswork, and while there's a couple of gripes like the lack of an OLED display and the fan noise, Asus and Microsoft Lovefest has created a monster of a system. Dude, you see this right here? I have an Asus ROG. Asus ROG CPUs, definitely rises. Those damn CPUs always get loud. This is nothing new. This is something I wish they would optimize better. When it comes to Asus, their CPUs freaking can get hot. Yeah, it can be like that. Try to adjust your fan inside of the well, you don't have to use Armor Crate, but there's something else, and you guys will know what I mean, though, and that's a better way to do it. It was a quick session, like he said right here. And there were a couple of gripes like the lack of an OLED and all that. From the simplification of Windows 11, which boosted straight into an easy-to-use Xbox UI, to the ergonomic design and the power under the hood, it's almost like Microsoft has seen our complaints about Windows gaming handhelds and meticulously addressed each one. There's a lot to like here, so rather than to drag this out, let me just tell you about what I found out during my hands-on time. Okay, so we get the specs down here. We know what they are. You know, RAM, CPU difference, storage difference. This is pretty much almost the same. And then we got all that going on. All right, what does a PC handheld need to do good? Play games well, be comfortable to play on, and be easy as a console to jump into titles. Well, for the ROG Ally, that's a big check on all three. The ROG Ally packs an AMD Z2A chipset, which is similar to the Steam Deck, which I don't think is all that impressive, which is definitely on the lower end. Paired with 16 gigabytes of RAM in my own testing, I saw Forza Horizon 5 running at a mixture of low graphics settings, and they had to turn on super resolution, and they got around 40 to 45 frames per second. You see what I mean? You're not getting 60, and they had to turn it down on the lower settings to even get that to run, which is respectable enough. Not that that's terrible or anything, but definitely makes this more of an indie gaming device rather than something you would trust with those AAA games. That's what the X is for. Just to let you guys know, this is what they're sharing. I'm not over here making up anything or beating down anything. For that, I turn your attention to the ROG Xbox Ally X with Ryzen A Z2 Extreme. This is more up to date, and 24 gigabytes of RAM. Basically the same shit you'll find in a new crop of handhelds like the MSI Claw A8. But with an additional NPU, neural processing unit, which helps with AI upscaling, for helping with some of the AI tasks in gaming like resolution scaling. That is a nice thing to have when it comes to the X. Paired with a very simplified use of Windows 11, more on that later, not taking up valuable resources, you're set to see some impressive frame rates with this higher end system. See, I was talking about the Ally, not the X. I think it was people misunderstood me. I got to switch on the system monitor and test it myself across a few games. Doom the Dark Ages ran at a smooth 83 frames per second average at 1080p with medium to high graphics. Now we're moving from lower to medium to high with FSR set to quality. You can do quality. This is silky. Gears of War Reloaded 1080p, rock solid 60, high to ultra. And Clear-Ups 33, go all the way up to 92. For a 7-inch gaming handheld, these are crazy good numbers. For the price, though, you're going to have to pay that better do that. So that makes sense. No hating over here, you know what I mean? That's exactly what's going on here. So, one thing that I have to say, yeah, sorry about that, but it's okay, though, is that, like I said, if you can afford this and you want that hardcore enthusiast experience, go for it. Obviously, we're never agreeing with the prices. Make no mistake about it, this is the most comfortable gaming handheld I've ever used. That's cool. I'm pretty sure with how expensive it is, I hope so, man. The inspiration taken from an Xbox controller with those large grips or larger grips makes this a whole lot easier to clutch. Definitely like shooting games and all that, yeah. With buttons placed perfectly for fantastic ergonomics. It may be thicker than your standard array of handhelds like the Nintendo Switch 2 and MSI Claw 8 AI+, but you won't care when you hold it. It's still small and lightweight enough to be considered ultra portable, and it feels way better to use. Thrown in the impulse triggers and strong haptic feedback, and you're onto a winner here. You've seen numbers from other Windows 11 gaming handhelds sporting basically the same Ryzen Z2 Extreme, chipset bar, and NPU. So why am I getting more performance out of this machine? Into the words, efficient software, the bloat they learned from Steam Deck. The way Windows will drag down performance and battery life on other handhelds comes down to all the background tasks the OS runs to keep the desktop alive and then the other functions that are required. Man, kind of like you do the Xbox Game Bar and stuff taking down your resources. This is good though. This is cool. But here you'll see the Xbox Ally boot directly into the Xbox UI, which isn't just a really easy to use front end, but it dumps all those unnecessary background processes. Yeah. This leaves a more headroom in the chipset and RAM to focus on gaming, which results in a dramatic uplift in frames. So basically saying right here, you're dumping out all that bloat and it allows you to just game. And it allows for a far nicer controller-friendly interface too, with quick settings available at a button press, a nice multitasking viewer, focused more on gaming so you can get right into gaming. Plenty of depth with the Armory Crate to tweak the power profiles, know all about Armory Crate, and much more. It's a complete transformation on the Windows woes. However, that's not to say it's all sunshine and rainbows, which I've expected. There are a couple of issues that are worth highlighting here during my time with the two Xbox Allies. Heat dissipation has always been a struggle for PC gaming handhelds, and the ROG Xbox Ally is seemingly no different. Don't get me wrong. They're definitely efficient at pushing temperatures down for strong sustained gaming performance, but that does not come at the expense of louder fans. That's kind of a worry, definitely how expensive it is. And while the speakers get pretty loud when turned up to 100%, make sure you pack some headphones for full fan-free immersion. Going the LCD route is not the end of the world. An Asus 7-inch 1080p panel is pretty good enough. Good color presentation, smooth frame rate, and small enough to make any textures look super crispy. Good. But given the rumored prices, I'm a little gutted and we're not seeing an OLED screen here. It's always shocking how much of a game changer an inky display with deep contrast and a flash flood of color can be for breathing new life into your games. I mean, I have to admit, man, the Switch screen is nice at 7.9. I was kind of hoping for a bigger screen, definitely not being an OLED. But hey, definitely with the charging too, but you didn't get that. That's not much more about the price that I can say, which has already been said many times over. The ROG Xbox Ally at 600 packs a chipset that is early similar to the far cheaper Steam Deck. And the Ally X comes in at a hefty $999. Don't get me wrong, that's not the worst I've seen. $1349 for Lenovo Go 2 there. They're crazy because they're doing OLEDs and all that. And it doesn't have an NPU though, so no thanks. But these are hard costs to swallow. Better off getting an NVIDIA laptop with 5070 and getting DLSS 4, smoking the hell out of it. Just saying. These are incredibly strong handhelds, but the price stinks. That's what we're talking about. Of course, the base model Ally is less potent, but it can still do the job with a little tweaking. But the Ally X really comes in with performance from that Z2 Extreme. I'm all about this. I think this, if I would get anything, I would go for this. I'm gonna spend an extra few hundred to get something way better. I'm not gonna be stuck with that like that. No, at that price, it's not worth it to me. Which is unlocked by removing the background burns of Windows 11. But anybody else is getting it, guys, I'm not beating that down. I'm just saying this is just me. You can still enjoy your Xbox Paradise, no problem. And of course, there will be curation of the games tested by Xbox itself to ensure handheld compatibility too. We'll be doing tests, you know it's going to be up. It's clear that Microsoft and Asus have thought of everything heading into launch, and while it's way too early to definitively confirm their greatness, going to get its initial stuff. They'll have their short little things. I'm telling you, anything PC handheld has never made a ton of units. The most ever was Steam Deck. Everything else was way less. So that's selling out, like I said, that doesn't mean anything. It's not, I promise you, I'm not saying this to be, why would I do that? I'm just saying I'm not falling for that because I know what it is. But all in all, let me know what you guys think about this. Enjoy this handheld when you get it, okay? Peace out. You know I got love for the Xbox community, but I do not have love for this greed and this anti-consumer behavior. Later, y'all. Peace out. And Duck, man, enjoy it, man. You know what I'm saying? We ain't hating over here. Brother, you know what I'm saying? Later.